Great.
Subway, eat fresh.
This is our year to end the struggle with weight. Next, Oprah.
Tomorrow at 4.
Running hard with a big week of contests ahead, candidates spar over race and their records. Tough talk, President Bush's latest warning on Iran. Bumpy ride beyond the glitz and glamour at the Detroit Auto Show, what's really driving U.S. automakers. And striking gold in Hollywood. First, the Golden Globes. Could the Oscars be next?
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Good evening. We are at the start of the busiest week yet in the race for president. There are 3 contests between now and next Sunday. Primaries in Michigan and South Carolina and the caucuses in Nevada. The candidates have been crisscrossing the country this weekend, colliding on everything from the economy to race, which leads us to Hillary Clinton, who today tried to turn the tables against Barack Obama over a racial controversy swirling around her camp. We have 2 reports on the campaign trail, but we begin in Las Vegas with Lee Cowan and the Clinton story. Lee, good evening.
Well, good evening, Lester. Neither Barack Obama nor Hillary Clinton were pulling any punches today as we head into this final week before the caucuses here in Nevada, with the former First Lady using her appearance on Meet the Press this morning to take Barack Obama on head-on.
Our Meet the Candidates 2008 series continues.
It was sharp from the beginning on everything from race to record.
He has not had a record of actually producing positive change.
Hillary Clinton, campaigning in South Carolina today, where about half the voters are African American, accused Barack Obama of trying to make race a factor.
Clearly, we know from media reports that the Obama campaign is deliberately distorting this.
The senator is referring to comments made last week when she seemed to give President Lyndon Johnson more credit for the civil rights movement than Dr. Martin Luther King. That brought a flood of angry responses.
Welcome, man. Good to see you again.
John Edwards took issue with it this morning, bringing the Clinton comment up in a mostly black congregation in South Carolina today.
Those who believe that real change starts with Washington politicians have been in Washington too long and are living in a fairy tale.
The former First Lady has since offered effusive praise of Dr. King and repeatedly claimed that her words were taken out of context.
Does he deserve the lion's share of the credit for moving our country and moving our political process? Yes, he does. But he also had partners who were in the political system.
BET founder Bob Johnson came to her defense today and in the process took a swipe at Barack Obama.
I am, frankly, insulted that the Obama campaign would imply that we are so stupid that we would think Hillary and Bill Clinton, who have been deeply and emotionally involved in black issues, when Barack Obama was doing something in the neighborhood that I won't say what he was doing, but he said it in his book.
No reaction from Barack Obama on that criticism, but before heading to church this morning, he said it was ludicrous to suggest that his campaign was trying to use race as an issue.
And for them somehow to suggest that we're interjecting race as a consequence of a statement she made that we haven't commented on is pretty hard to figure out.
Instead, he seemed most frustrated by Senator Clinton's claim that his rhetoric in opposition to the war in Iraq doesn't match his record.
By 2004, he was saying that he didn't really disagree with the way George Bush was conducting the war. And by 2005, 6, and 7, he was voting for $300 billion in funding for the war.
The senator himself bristled at the suggestion that he's been anything but consistent about Iraq from the beginning.
Senator Clinton started off trying to make history. Now she's trying to rewrite it.
Now, Hillary Clinton says that she thinks that this campaign really started over again during that debate in New Hampshire when she really came out and hammered Barack Obama pretty hard. If, in fact, that's the case, Lester, you can expect to see a lot more of those kind of exchanges in this Democratic debate here in Las Vegas coming up on Tuesday. Lester.
All right, Lee Cowan, thanks. Now to the Republican candidates who face their next critical showdown on Tuesday in Michigan. NBC's Ron Allen is at our affiliate in Detroit tonight. Ron, good evening to you.
Good evening, Lester. Mitt Romney and John McCain are the ones who are making the big pushes here. They've been seeing big crowds, and there's every indication this race is very, very tight. McCain, of course, won here in 2000, so he has something of a natural following. He's hoping to take his win in New Hampshire last week, a win here, and a win later in South Carolina, and get on something of a streak. Romney, of course, is hoping to finally win a big, significant state. He's talking a lot about his business background and his roots here, which he hopes plays well in a state where the economy is really the big issue. Mike Huckabee spent the day in South Carolina visiting several churches, but he is here tonight and will campaign again here tomorrow. Everyone is talking about the economy and the high 7.4% unemployment rate, the highest in the nation, which is here in Michigan. In fact, that is one reason that Michigan moved its primary forward, hoping that the nation would focus on the economic problems here. There are a lot of undecided voters, a lot of voters listening very closely to what the candidates have to say, especially about the job situation. Lester?
All right, Ron Ellen in Detroit. Ron, thanks. NBC News will have extensive here now for some perspective on this busy week. We're joined by CNBC Chief Washington Correspondent John Harwood. John, let's pick up where Ron left off. If Romney holds on in Michigan, you'll have 3 Republican frontrunners. I assume that's when things get really interesting.
Lester, that would just encourage Mitt Romney to stay in this race longer until Republican voters can sort it out, which is easier for him to do in any case. Usually struggling candidates have to persuade donors to keep them afloat with new money. In Mitt Romney's case, he just has to persuade himself that it's worth spending more of his own money on this race, and he's got a lot of it, Lester.
Let's talk about a brewing story on the Democratic side. On Meet the Press this morning, we saw Hillary Clinton react strongly to the idea that she has criticized not just Barack Obama, but perhaps even Martin Luther King Jr. How did this become such a big issue, John?
You know, part of it is that former President Clinton himself used the dismissive term fairy tale to attack Barack Obama's positioning on the Iraq War. But in a larger sense, we're just seeing how potentially explosive it is to have a history-making African-American and woman candidate run against one another in the Democratic primary. Both of those campaigns, and John Edwards for that matter, have to treat this very carefully over the next few weeks so that they can unite the party once Democratic voters eventually pick a winner.
And this morning's appearance was a good chance for her to try to tamp down on the controversy, but she suggested that it's the Obama camp that's been spinning all this. So how did she do?
Well, actually, these sensitivities are likely to increase over the next few weeks as the primary moves to western states with substantial numbers of Hispanic voters. Barack Obama strengthens his position lately among African Americans, but Hillary Clinton's retained the upper hand among Latinos, and there are significant tensions between those two groups, especially on economic issues, Lester.
And John, quick question about economic issues. Why is everyone talking about it now in the campaign trail? Why now?
Well, finally, the economic indicators have gotten so ominous that it's overcome the reluctance in both parties. Republicans have been worried about portraying themselves as tough on spending, and Democrats have been trying to reclaim the fiscal responsibility mantle against Republicans. That's now being overcome by the signs that voters are really, really hurting.
All right, John Harwood in Washington for us. John, thanks very much.
You bet.
NBC News will have extensive coverage of the big week ahead for candidates, starting with the Michigan primary on Tuesday, followed by the Republican South Carolina primary and the Nevada caucuses on Saturday the 19th. South Carolina's Democratic primary will be held the following Saturday. And a reminder, Brian Williams will moderate the Democratic candidates debate along with Tim Russert live from Las Vegas this Tuesday night beginning at 9 o'clock Eastern. You can watch that debate on MSNBC. Now to the Middle East and a new warning about Iran. President Bush blasted Tehran as he continues to seek Arab support for a tough stand against the regime. NBC's John Yang is in Abu Dhabi with the president.
After arriving in Abu Dhabi in a rare rainfall, President Bush gave what's billed as the signature speech of his 8-day Middle East trip, turning up the heat on Iran. He stood fewer than 200 miles from the country he called the world's leading state sponsor of terror and urged Gulf allies to stand up to their neighbor.
So the United States is strengthening our long-standing security commitments with our friends in the Gulf and rallying friends around the world to confront this danger before it is too late.
Mr. Bush said the biggest threat is Tehran's refusal to come clean about its nuclear program, which Iran has long said is for civilian purposes. Later, the International Nuclear Watchdog Agency said Iran promised to answer all questions in 4 weeks. Not good enough, administration officials said. The president's tough talk on Iran comes a week after a confrontation between 3 U.S. warships and 5 Iranian Revolutionary Guard speedboats in the Strait of Hormuz. Earlier today, he visited the Navy fleet in Bahrain. The commanding admiral told Mr. Bush he takes last week's incident deadly seriously. Later, two of the ship's commanders spoke to reporters.
They came down our port side, turned around, came right at us at a high rate of speed.
The speedboats turned away before the U.S. ships opened fire. Iran's largely overshadowed what administration officials say is Mr. Bush's main mission, pressing for democratic reforms and civil liberties in a region that has precious few of either.
My friends, the future of liberty stands before you. It is your right, it is your dream, and it is your destiny.
As Mr. Bush's trip continues, it's a message that's become a centerpiece of his final year in office. John Yang, NBC News, with the president in Abu Dhabi.
Back here in this country, the Northeast is bracing for a messy start to the work week. A fast-moving storm is on its way tonight that could bring snow and big travel problems to an area stretching from Philadelphia to Boston. Let's check in with Bill Cairns now at NBC Weather Plus for the latest. Bill?
Oh, good evening, Lester. Our storm is now just beginning. We had a little break from winter to start this new year. This nor'easter is going to be a fast mover, and it's going to hit a few areas very hard. Specifically, we're talking outside of New York City up through New England. How much snow are we talking about? Up to a foot possible. Some areas here, Connecticut, northern Massachusetts, all the way to the coast, back up into southern Maine. The big cities will be the biggest problem early tomorrow morning. New York City expecting 3 to 5 inches, but just north of there, a lot more. One of the highlighted areas, Boston, up to a foot is possible. And it looks like winter is back. After the big January thaw to start the year, we have a huge mass of cold air coming down from Canada for late this weekend. Could see wind chill values, get ready for this, Lester, as low as -20 to -40 up towards Chicago and Minneapolis by the weekend.
All right, Bill Cairns, you can never get ready for that, but we'll try. Thanks. It's been a turbulent start to the new year on Wall Street, with the Dow off almost 5% so far in 2008, and investors are bracing for a flood of key economic data this week that may tell us where things are headed next. For more, we're joined now by CNBC's Maria Bartiromo. Maria, what should we be paying attention to this week?
Hi there, Lester. It actually is a critical week because we're getting fourth quarter earnings coming out. In the week ahead, we've got most of the major banks reporting business for the final 3 months of the year, 2007. We'll get a definitive look into exactly how much exposure those banks have to those bad problem subprime loans, as well as the rest of the corporate sector. So far, the corporate sector has held up well in this slowdown. Any cracks to that story could be a problem, and we'll learn that in the next couple of weeks, beginning with next week.
And I know the economists are still crunching numbers, trying to figure out where the recession starts or ends. But psychologically, are we already in a recession, Maria?
You know, it's a good question. As you know, the definition of a recession is 2 quarters of negative growth. We have not seen that yet. So technically, we have not seen the recession yet. But it is all psychological, because when people have fear and expectations that things are going to worsen, they pull in their spending. They slow down and become cautious, and then they actually push us into one anyway. There are some reasons to be positive. The global economies continue to see a dynamic story. We have not seen any cracks to that yet, and America is benefiting from that. So we'll see. The next couple of weeks are very critical in terms of where we are right now.
And the credit crisis has been part of the problem we've seen. Is there light at the end of the tunnel as we look toward the end of 2008, perhaps?
Well, we'll see about that. The banks really are the issue there, and of course that's been the biggest impact on the financial services companies. In 2008, we are going to look at some growth areas. Technology is one major growth story. That's a real positive, and that should continue throughout the year. But we'll know in short order whether or not we are in recessionary times or whether this is a slowdown that will be short-lived.
All right. Maria Bartiromo from CNBC. Maria, thanks very much.
Thank you.
When NBC Nightly News continues on this Sunday, a big economic story out of Detroit tonight. A reality check at the event of the year for car lovers. And later, striking gold. Are the Oscars next?
Sometimes she has trouble staying asleep. Not tonight. Thanks to Ambien CR and the 7-night invite. Get 7 free nights of the only sleep aid with 2 layers to help you fall asleep and stay asleep. Just call or visit 7freecr.com. Until you know how Ambien CR will affect you, you shouldn't drive or operate machinery. Be sure you're able to devote 7 to 8 hours to sleep before being active again. Sleepwalking and eating or driving while not fully awake with amnesia for the event have been reported. In rare cases, sleep aids may cause severe allergic reactions such as swelling of your tongue or throat or shortness of breath. If you experience any of these behaviors or reactions, contact your doctor immediately. Side effects may include next-day drowsiness, dizziness, and headache. It's non-narcotic and can be taken for as long as your prescriber recommends. However, like most sleep aids, it has some risk of dependency. Don't take it with alcohol. Get Get your free Ambien CR 7-night trial offer now. Just call or visit 7freecr.com. Ambien CR for a good night's sleep from start to finish.
You could have leftovers again. Or a 3-course meal starting at $9.99.
Get to Applebee's now for the 3-course classics, and you choose entree, appetizer, and dessert, starting at $9.99.
Applebee's. Get it together, baby.
Nasal sprays? Ooh, I'm shaking in my boots. Huh? Mucinex nasal spray.
New Mucinex Full Force Nasal Spray. Specially made to clear even the toughest mucus out of your nose for 12 hours. Mucinex in, mucus out.
Achoo! Puffs Plus are more soothing than plain tissue. Noses prefer them if they have an issue. And now new Puffs Plus with the comforting scent of Vicks.
You know, I'm really glad we finally decided to see where Raisin Bran Crunch is made.
Yeah, this trip is way overdue. I just can't wait to see all those crunchy flakes in action.
I hope I get a chance to put 2 scoops of raisins in some boxes.
You know what'll really get us in the spirit? 99 boxes of Raisin Bran Crunch. If you're nice to me, I'll share some with you. You take one down, we'll pass it around.
98 boxes of Raisin Bran Crunch. Raisins, flakes, and honey oat clusters. They're quite a trio.
Raisin Bran Crunch!
From Kellogg. Are the sexes really as different as you think? The Truth About Boys and Girls, a special series. Monday on NBC Nightly News with Brian Williams, America's #1 evening newscast.
Now NBC News in depth tonight, Rocky Road. There is a big show getting underway for automakers, a chance to display their latest designs and build buzz about the next great concept. The stakes are particularly high this year as car makers hope to woo back consumers and overcome some tough times. CNBC's Phil LeBeau is at the Detroit Auto Show.
It's Motown's grand party with big productions, big stars, and big cars like the Chevy Corvette CR1 and Ford's redesigned F-150. But all the hoopla can't hide the gloomy fact Detroit's automakers are hurting.
This town's been in a recession for a number of years, and it's basically because it's a company town and the company hasn't been doing well.
Last year, sales for the big three all fell, while Toyota increased and passed Ford to become #2 in the U.S. Despite new additions of popular models like the Dodge Ram pickup, this year the U.S. is projected to build fewer than 10 million new vehicles for the first time since 1992. A sign the growing popularity of foreign-made cars and a sluggish economy have people thinking twice before they buy a new ride.
We see the first quarter or two to be, down versus last year, but the question is how far down?
High gas prices are also weighing on the big three, who have been slow to stop making big trucks and SUVs for small cars and gas-electric hybrids, which are increasingly popular. In fact, last year, Ford's Explorer sales fell 26%, and the one-time king of SUVs was outsold by Toyota's Prius Hybrid, which enjoyed a 69% increase. All of this has locals like Eddie Tinsley wondering if their hometown companies will ever stop the losses.
Most of the people that I grew up and the people that I know now can't depend on the auto industry for employment or any type of growth.
A somber view taking the luster off the glitz and glamour of Detroit's annual celebration. Phil LeBeau, NBC News, Detroit.
And when we come back tonight, they could be the life of the party in the race for president. Will they be the year they turn out to vote?
Keeping power flowing to thousands of homes and businesses, Paul is a formidable man, but no match for something smaller than a spark. It was a clot. If you've been hospitalized with heart-related chest pain or had a heart attack, what doctors call ACS, chances are you've had a clot too. But now Paul's on Plavix. Plavix, taken with other heart medicines, helps provide greater protection against heart attack or stroke than other heart medicines alone by helping keep blood platelets from sticking together and forming clots.
If you have a stomach ulcer or other condition that causes bleeding, you should not use Plavix. When taking Plavix alone or with some other medicines, including aspirin, the risk of bleeding may increase, so tell your doctor before planning surgery. And always talk to your doctor before taking aspirin or other medicines with Plavix, especially if you've had a stroke. If you develop fever, unexplained weakness, or confusion, tell your doctor promptly, as these may be signs of a rare but potentially life-threatening condition called TTP, which has been reported rarely, sometimes in less than 2 weeks after starting therapy. Other rare but serious side effects may occur.
Ask your doctor about Plavix today because you're no match for a dangerous clot. If you take Plavix with other heart medicines, continuing to do so will help increase your protection against a future heart attack or stroke beyond your other heart medicines alone. You may be feeling better, but your risk never goes away. Help stay protected. Stay with Plavix.
Have you heard about Miralax? It's a different kind of laxative that's kind to your body. Miralax relieves constipation with no bloating.
No cramping.
And now, no prescription.
Restore your body's natural rhythm with Miralax.
Fed up with snoring? Introducing new Snore Relief Throat Strips from Breathe Right. At night, throat tissues can become dry and vibrate, but new Snore Relief Throat Strips gently lubricate throat tissues to help keep them quiet. They help 2 out of 3 couples sleep more peacefully at night. Breathe better, sleep better with new Wintergreen Snore Relief Throat Strips from Breathe Right.
After her surprise New Hampshire victory, Keith asks, has Hillary Clinton gone from battle-hardened to all heart? Countdown with Keith Olbermann, MSNBC Monday.
No matter how you drive, we got you covered.
Hang on, Barney. Here we go, buddy. They'll never catch us now, Barney. Oh, doggy. Barney, think and stop. Okay. Here we are. I love this job. Come on, boy.
At Acceptance, nobody gets stuck without car insurance. Call today.
Oh, it's fine.
Dan Miller and Demetria Kaladimos, working for you, weeknights at 5, 6, and 10.
Returning to politics now, and a closer look at a voting bloc that could be the life of the party if they show up to vote. It seems like every election cycle we talk about it, the possibility of a youth quake. This year, there's early evidence of tremors among young voters. Allison Stewart has our report.
Fun and games on a warm winter day at Princeton.
Create a lot of rah-rah.
But that night, it was all business for students watching primary returns.
It's really easy to register in New Jersey.
And pitching voter registration. All indicators so far this election season point to a large turnout of under 30 voters.
I think there were 3 drivers to this increase in engagement among young people. One is a post-9/11 sense that politics is highly relevant. Number 2 is the major issues that face us. The third thing is the cost per acquisition of a young voter is much less expensive today than it was even a cycle or 2 ago.
So how do you engage a voter born in the 80s? With this and this. 19-year-old Mark Zia is a campaign regional coordinator for Obama.
That's what technology brings. It brings a kind of decentralization that engages more people in the process. And in the end, I think it has a democratizing effect. So it's a great tool.
From ringtones to online candidate forums to personalized email or blog postings, Campaigning 2.0 is cheap and effective. But the tech is only as good as the message.
Young people view the world dramatically differently than other generations, boomers, Xers, and other people. Young people look at a global community first.
I think it's a great thing to be involved in politics and great to be concerned with issues, concerned with what's happening in the world, with genocides, with wars, with healthcare, whatever is actually going on. The more involved we are in those current events, I think the better this country runs.
As all the candidates continue to campaign, they might be wise to make certain their policy issues are on point and their Facebook profiles are up to date. Allison Stewart, NBC News, Jersey City, New Jersey.
It was a royal gathering as the Queen Elizabeth II, the Queen Mary II, and the new Queen Victoria rendezvoused in New York Harbor. Described as a once-in-a-lifetime event, the Queen Victoria was launched just last month, and the 40-year-old QE2 is on its final world cruise, set to be decommissioned and turned into a floating hotel. Up next tonight, crashing the party, how the writers' strike is killing a lot more than the red carpet tonight.
Going over and over? It's not just you. Stopping and starting? Going urgently?
You're not alone. Lots of guys experience male urinary symptoms due to BPH, also known as an enlarged prostate. But for many guys, prescription Flomax may relieve urinary symptoms due to BPH in 1 week. And who doesn't want to spend less time in the bathroom? Only your doctor can tell if you have BPH, not prostate cancer. Common side effects of Flomax are runny nose, dizziness, and decrease in semen. Upon standing, a sudden drop in blood pressure may occur, rarely resulting in fainting. So when starting Flomax, avoid situations where injury could result. If considering cataract surgery, tell your eye surgeon you've taken Flomax. Do what millions of guys have already done. Ask your doctor about Flomax and call 877-4FLOMAX for a free 1-week trial. Why wait? Join the crowd. Flomax could make a difference in 1 week.
Everybody knows that nothing puts a damper on the right moment like an interruption. The good news is it could wait till later. Because for guys like me with ED, there's Cialis. Cialis is the only erectile dysfunction tablet clinically proven to both go to work fast in as little as 30 minutes for some men and work up to 36 hours. No other ED tablet can do both. Work fast or give us the option of having up to 36 hours to get back to what got interrupted. And Cialis works so that I can respond to Sally only when we're ready. Tell your doctor about your medical condition and all medications and ask if you're healthy enough for sexual activity. Don't take Cialis if you take nitrates for chest pain, as this may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Don't drink alcohol in excess with Cialis. Side effects may include headache, upset stomach, delayed backache, or muscle ache. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help if you experience an erection lasting more than 4 hours. If you have any sudden decrease in hearing or vision, stop taking Cialis and call your doctor right away. Why ask your doctor about Cialis? Because when the moment is right, you can be ready.
Nasal sprays? Ooh, I'm shaking in my boots. Huh? Mucinex nasal spray?
New Mucinex Full Force Nasal Spray. Specially made to clear even the toughest mucus out of your nose for 12 hours. Mucinex in, mucus out.
Where's the one place you'll find Hollywood's hottest stars tonight?
I'd be blunt with you.
Going for Gold, hosted by Matt Lauer.
I'm having the best time.
One-on-one interviews with the Golden Globe nominees, and anything goes.
He was a good kisser.
A Dateline special event, tonight 7/6 Central on NBC.
They bite with 3 times the force of a great white, weighing more than 3 tons, and only this guy is crazy enough to sneak up on him. This week on Today on NBC. The truth about boys and girls, NBC Nightly News Monday.
Finally, the Golden Globes. What was supposed to be a lavish TV and movie awards ceremony has been reduced to a mere news conference, the latest victim of the 10-week-old writers' strike that has left a lot of us with plenty of time on our hands. And it's affecting more than the Hollywood economy. And tonight, many are asking, what about the upcoming Oscars? NBC's Michael Oku has our story.
A primetime press conference instead of a celebrity gala. It's hardly golden, but the stars have aligned.
I belong to 6 unions, so I'm a union guy, so I'll do what the Writers Guild says or asks.
To support their writers, the actors are staying home. That means no stars, no envelopes, please, no champagne. This is where the red carpet would have been, but as you can see, it's an unadorned hotel driveway. But if tonight's event seems bleak, the prospects of ending this strike anytime soon may be even bleaker. Writers and studios are embroiled in a 2-month-long stalemate over the share of money screenwriters earn from shows and films downloaded on the internet.
The writers want 8 to 10 times as much as the studios are offering. In addition, the lead negotiators on either side don't like each other at all.
I won't be on your crappy little show forever.
With the production of more than 60 dramas and sitcoms stalled, the Los Angeles economy has lost $1.4 billion.
I paid for these items, so this certainly is money out of pocket.
Hurting people like Pam and Jim Alia, who own this Hollywood prop shop, now stocked with useless inventory. The Alias have laid off 30% of their staff and worry they may still lose up to $400,000.
You don't sleep a lot. I think that every day it's the main thing on you.
There's now talk writers may take a cue from their Globe's victory to protest next month's Academy Awards, which generates millions in advertising revenues for the networks and free publicity for the studios.
And action. If you strike the Oscars, you know, that's like, it's just, you know, slapping the Pope. You think, oh my God, I mean, it's like they're sacred.
But in this fight, nothing is sacred. leaving fans with no lights, no cameras, no action. Michael Oku, NBC News, Beverly Hills.
But as they say, the show must go on. NBC's coverage of the Golden Globes is coming up, beginning with a special celebrity edition of Dateline NBC. It's hosted by Matt Lauer with the nominees, and the presentation of the Golden Globes will follow at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And again, you can see it all here on NBC. That's NBC Nightly News for this Sunday. Brian Williams will be here tomorrow. I'm Lester Holt reporting from New York for all of us here at NBC News. Good night.
Hey there, Matt Lauer.